folks, welcome to another WarCry Battle Report hosted by Semi-Casual Gaming with your host Nathan. Tonight we are going to be featuring a couple of teams. We just recently did a Scions of the Flame Gauntlet, and they are over in my paint station right now getting a needed break and some paint, get some flames and skin going. Work in progress. Probably another couple of weeks since I'm a very slow painter, not due to quality or whatever, just because I'm lazy. So thought I'd go ahead and pull my other teams out for a few more reports just to keep the ball rolling. So tonight, as you see, we have staged the Ogor Mawtribes versus the Legions of Nagash. Quick little starter note that these were the two teams that I learned WarCry with, simply because when they first announced that they were going to have the Age of Sigmar armies introduced, I was like, awesome. So when they first released these cards, I bought them first thing and played a couple of games, with myself and with a friend of mine at the time, just to kind of get a feel for the game and where I fell in love with it. But I learned really quickly that these teams, it's basically, there's two types of missions they usually have: either kill something or control something. And if it's a kill something, they always win. If it's a control something, they win a lot more often than they do. So we'll see what type of mission we get here. Again, just as a little precursor, I don't own those new books because I just don't feel like the price tag justifies it for my personal collection. So we'll be playing with the old cards and such. So if there's anything that's like, hey, you could do this now, well, no, I can't because I don't have the books. So, all right, well, in the spirit of how I've been doing the reports lately, I have not actually picked any of these beforehand, so we're just going to go ahead and go. Before I do these, we should do the terrain layout. So, as you see up close, another relatively symmetrical map picked by my wife, so we'll see the official flow out here. Just kind of a good box in the middle, a couple of odd pockets on the end, and overall just, I'd say, a fairly typical arena match map layout. So, okay, now we go on. So we're going to pick deployment type. Throw cards on the floor. Ooh, decapitate. I think this was the one I don't think we actually did this one yet. So it's an asymmetrical. We'll definitely see who gets to be which by rolling the dice. Red Ogres, green Legions. Higher one gets to be red, so red is red. Red, 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 red. Okay, so the ogres basically piled in this corner, whereas the Legions of Nagash will be spreading out across the field. So we'll see what happens later on. Victory condition. The hidden artifact, or a controlling one. This is a lot of text, so I'm just going to set this down so I can read it. Alright. I'll block my light. Place one treasure token on the battlefield at the center of the battlefield, then starting with the player who won the priority roll. Each player places one token on the battlefield more than 9 inches from any other treasure token more than 4 inches from the battlefield edge. At the end of the first battle round, the players roll off, and the winner picks one treasure token on the battlefield or one piece of treasure that is being carried and removes it from play. At the end of the second battle round, the opposing player does the same. The battle ends after 3 rounds. When the battle ends, the player who is fighter is carrying the remaining treasure wins the battle. Interesting. So basically, player 1 gets to remove one treasure, player 2 gets to remove the other, and then last round they have to fight over the third treasure. So I'll have to grab a couple of my treasure chests over for my pile and get those lining up shortly. Now, the twist. Deluge. A week-long drought is broken and heavy rain drenches the land. No ability or attack action can be used to target any fighter more than 6 inches away from this battle. In addition, when a fighter climbs, count each 1 inch of vertical movement as 2 inches instead. Well, so when it rains, it pours. And, I mean, granted, the only really climbing spots are those 2 spots over there. So the tough thing, though, is that the skeletons only have a 3-inch movement, so to climb all the way up there, they would have to use a double move to basically hug the wall, and then in the next turn do a double move and climb up, because it'd be 6 inches. So, whereas the ogres have 4-inch move all around. I mean, they'd still have to double move either way. I mean, they can't even use a rush to get one move. So Ooh, that could definitely mess with the game. So we'll see how that goes. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the treasure tokens set up after I get the team set up, and we will roll dice and see it get going. So, here's where we're at before. All right, and here is deployment and treasure dropping. I realized in the last recording right now I forgot to mention what was in each group, so I'll probably do that right now. So probably I actually will. So in the dagger was for the ogres was just the Leadbelcher. He had to deploy up here along the edge up to 8 inches, so he's as close to the center treasure as possible. In the ogre shield, they are supposed to basically be parallel down but 4 inches up from the edge, so they're as far forward as possible. The ogres picked their treasure to be right here, obviously in the middle of their bodies, and their hammer comes on in round 2 right here at the center point, which is the nice little handy crease right in the middle. And in I didn't say the shield is the ogre crusher, the leader, and the Gnoblar fighter. And in the hammer, it's the Irongut, and then the Ogre Glutton with the Ironfist. I didn't switch out for one of my other ogres. I just left him because he was out for the last game. So, and there's that. So for the Legions of Nagash, as you know, they've got 15 models here because I ran a whole bunch of skeletons because I don't own Graveguard. Basically, the layouts of all of the 3 groups are the same except for 1 model each. So they all have 2 skeleton swordsmen and 2 skeleton spears. But in the dagger, which will show up on round 2 along anywhere on this table edge, the Necromancer's hanging out. So it's kind of a bummer he's off the table because they can't use any abilities this round because all the abilities require them to use the leader, which is kind of lame. In the shield, which starts in the middle and move forward as possible, there's an additional spearman, so 2 swords, 3 spears. And in the hammer, trapped in the corner over here, is the skeleton champion. And I just realized a couple guys are kind of leaning off the table, but basically they're tucked in the corner trying to scurry over. And this is where the Legions of Nagash player put their treasure because that's the closest to not being within 4 inches and being in that corner where they can grab it and possibly run off with it. So we'll see how that ends up going for them. So with that being said, they are all set up, and the range penalty for the deluge, I think, really only impacts the Leadbelcher and the Necromancer, especially because the Necromancer is going to be so far off he won't be able to shoot pretty much run all, and there's only 3 rounds, so we'll see how effective he can be in this game. So with that being said, we've got them all set up, so let's roll dice. Ogres roll first. We have double, 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 so triple doubles. We'll get those pulled out. And for Legions, running green, a triple and 3 singles. So, not that they really want any ability dice. I mean, I guess they can still use the generic abilities, which is kind of handy. So, now for their wild dice, we're going to split them off accordingly. Legions player is going to go ahead and make a double 5 because they're going to get first initiative anyways. And the ogre player is going to save his wild dice because 3 doubles, that's pretty handy for lots of rushing around in the first turn. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and go into it. I'm going to do the full report this time. I know I've been going back and forth between doing end of turn or full turn. I think for the sake of it, I mean, maybe I'll do that if I run the cities versus legions because there's so many models, but there's 5 models against 15. It's considerably less. So they're going to go ahead and we're going to activate the first skeleton swordsman. We're going to go ahead and burn the 1 double to give rush, so he gets to move 4 inches instead of 3. Super exciting. And he is going to basically go 4 inches to grab that treasure and 4 inches to fall back. So he's going to go yoink. So skeleton 1 has the treasure. And since there's so many of them to keep track of, I'm just going to have him drag the treasure nearby him just to keep track of where it actually is. So next action, we'll see which one we want to choose. We're going to go ahead and have I will have the Gnoblar Fighter activate because we're going to be a cheeky git. And he's going to grab the one treasure. And there's only 3 guys on the table, so technically I'll go ahead and use one of the doubles to give him rush. So we can just run away with it. So his 1 inch, and he'll just tuck and hide behind here. I mean, it doesn't matter since it's doubles. All the doubles are going to be the same. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, all right, the next move we're going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and have the skeleton champion. We'll actually go ahead and burn the triple and use it as a double to do rush as well, so that he can move 8 inches. And he is basically going to go 4 inches, grab the treasure, and then since there is a wall over here, he'll do a wait action. So I will leave. I'll actually go ahead and put his treasure on here. I know you said that would keep it on the field for them, but really with the swordsman and the spearman, it's going to be harder to track. So, okay, now these guys are going to have to do some running. So, let me just do a quick measurement change because he can't shoot the full distance. They're all literally just out of 6 inches of him. So he'd have to move forward before he could shoot. So, we'll actually go ahead and have this, the Crusher go next. So, and I will actually use the on the Maw Path double, which is at half the value of this ability. And with my tape measure, at half the value of the ability, rounding up to the move characteristic for the next move action they make. I have a double 6, so that gives him plus 3 inches for his next move, so he gets to move 7 inches right now, which won't put him within kill range, but it will put him within threat range. So we'll go ahead and have him go up to roughly here, and I will actually go ahead and do a wait for his next activation because I don't want him to walk into the bodies of spears. So I'll actually have him kind of circle down that way for baiting reasons. So the next fighter, we're going to go ahead and the skeleton activate. He will scooch forward. I've already burned both of their abilities, so he's just going to go ahead and attack. He has 3 attacks at strength 3 versus my toughness higher champion because he's toughness 4, so needing to grab 3 dice. So let me grab 3 dice. Wounding on 5s and 6s. 1-5, so 1 pip of damage is taken to the Ogre Crusher. He has 39 wounds remaining. Yep, you heard me. 39. The sucker has 40 flippin' wounds. And I sealed up my bag for the damage counters. I'll pull them open off the camera later. So he has 1 damage. Good job. Alright, well, the Leadbelcher gets to move next. And because he had to move within range to attack, he's going to go ahead and pop off shots here. So the Leadbelcher has 3 shots at strength 5 versus toughness 4. So 3 shots, hitting, wounding on 3s or better for 3/6. So he only does 3 damage to the first skeleton. So skeleton swordsman number 1 takes 3 damage. And then we will shoot again because, oh, you know what? I forgot to activate that last double. So I'll do it now. So I'll have 4 attacks for the onslaught for +1 attacks. Oof, that deluge is jamming up his gun pretty bad. So with that being said, basically the rest of the attacks are going to go as follows. He's going to move about 3 inches to be about 2 inches away. Yep. And he's going to poke twice. Looking for 5s, 6s. Oh, a 6, so he does 4 damage. So he's down to 5 wounds taken. The next guy's going to activate, come roughly to there. 5s and 6s. Another 1, so he's taken 6 damage. And then this guy is going to actually come over here and stab. 4 is still not wound because it's only strength 3 on the attacks. And then these guys are all going to shuffle up, and that'll be the end of the round. So I'm just going to shuffle them off camera. I'll show you guys the before and after really quick. So, and then I'll go ahead and get the round 2 groups put up. But first, we roll off for the end of round, determining of who removes what treasure. So, red and green. Tie. Oh, red. So the ogres get to remove one treasure from play. So that will be the skeleton champion. Now, however, that means automatically next round the legions get to pick the next treasure, which will most likely be that one. So, yeah, so they will get that. So we'll move them. We'll get the damage counters put out. We'll get all the second round started up, and then we'll roll priority here in about 2 seconds. So 3, 2, and 3. Okay, so I basically split up. I sent a couple skeletons this way, which those guys, of course, appeared on for the round 2. Other skeletons came up in a round to start supporting. The big mob of the Necromancer and his crew have appeared as close as possible to support the treasures on this side. Otherwise, looks like everybody's in the fray now. And I noted the 6 damage taken to the Crusher, and then the 3 damage taken to the 1 Skeleton Swordsman. I'm just, for our purposes, it's basically dagger, dagger, shield, shield, hammer, hammer, and then dagger, dagger, hammer, 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 or shield, 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 hammer, hammer for the spearmen. So we'll see if it matters, because, well, it probably will once the ogres start to actually get to swing. So, alright. Speaking of swinging, initiative. Oh, we got a triple and 3 singles. That was a 6. And triple 2s. And now, Legions is off 5 6s. Okay. Ultra quad. Unfortunately, with how the rules are set, at least as far as I recall, those have to stay all together and they only count as a quad. So it's actually kind of detrimental. But man, that's a lot of 6s. That would have been great for an attack roll or something. But alas, it was not meant to be. So there is 1 wild dice for the legions, 2 wild dice for the ogres. So too bad that's a triple 2, because that's not a very awesome triple 2, but you know, we'll see how well that goes. So they have the obvious priority roll there, so we will go ahead and make a double 6, and we will save the other yellow dice, and I will go ahead and save the wild dice for them too. So yeah, just we'll see how that goes. So the ogres get to strike first. I'm not really worried about the Crusher, so let's see here. We're gonna do some movement. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and activate the Leadbelcher first. He will move 4 inches and stay outside of the. Actually, you can try to stay outside of 2 inches of him too. All right. Yep. So he's 2 inches, and then we're going to go ahead and yeah, we'll activate the double to give him an extra shot. So we're going to shoot 4 dice this time over, and we'll just roll these ones at the spearman holding the treasure. Looking for 3s or better. And 2, that's 6 damage. So yeah, 3 damage per shot. So skeleton number 2 in the grouping has 2 wounds remaining. 1 and a 5-pointer. 5. Okay, so yeah, 1 more shot and he's blown off the table. The next activation, we're going to go ahead and take a look here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and have that skeleton run for the hills, because that's just going to be his best bet. I'm going to save the 6, so we're going to just move 6 inches. So the first 3 is going to go roughly there. and then roughly there. So he's just going to go plunk roughly about there. Run, little bone boy, run! And so now the next activation here. Let's see. The ogres have got to get over there somehow, because if they don't get over there, that guy's going to run off and hold the treasure for the game. So, let's see if one of these guys can get over there just close enough. I guess we'll have to use the triple for a double for a rush, because he can go 5 inches and land roughly here, and then another 5 inches and get right in touch of the skeleton there. Of course, he's going to get stabbed a whole bunch of times, but he's just going to run and haul keister to at least pin the guy down, at least attempt to get to him. So they burned their triple, however. So the next attack or movements and such, I'm actually going to go ahead and activate the Necromancer, because I think this is going to be fun. I'm going to use the 6 as a quad for Van Hell's Dance Macabre. A number of visible enemy fighters, friendly fighters, equal to the value of this ability, which there's 4, so it's a 6, so it's kind of getting squandered. That are within 6 inches of this fighter can make a bonus move or bonus attack and mix or match. So basically all 4 of those guys are going to get to do a free 3-inch move, which will be kind of handy. Essentially what we're just going to do is a straightforward bloop. Bloop, because their swords are pointing all funny. Bloop, bloop. So that's that move. And now the Necromancer's move. He's actually going to go 3, 4 to roughly there. And he's clearly within 6 inches, so he's going to go ahead and take a pot shot with his laser blast. It's only strength 3, so I need 5s or 6s. But 6. So he does 6 damage to that Leadbelcher. So 5. Ooh, nope. Yeah. Quit bouncing. 5. And 6. Okay. Not a bad crit. So, yeah, nuke the guy with some necrotic powers. So, next one to move will be... I'll actually go ahead and have the Crusher go next. So, he's going to go ahead and attack with his 4 attacks, going into the actual skeleton within engagement range of him. And that will be strength 5, so looking for 3s. And 2 3s, or a single 6 will one-shot this guy. Yep, so 4 5, yep, so he takes 12 damage, so that skeleton kerpluies completely off the field. So he sits here and ponders whether he actually got the damage counters right, or if it was actually the other guy that took the 3 damage earlier. But I think that, no, that was that skeleton, because he was the one who engaged the Crusher. I remember. I was trying to make sure I was killing the right people. Good times. Alright, then he'll get to move next, since he's got nobody within range. So, unfortunately, the gap right there isn't quite wide enough for him to muscle his way through. So what we're going to do is basically... how do we want to do this? We're just going to go 4 inches up and around. Unfortunately, he's just going to have to tag this one. And so, but the key thing is it keeps them all from stabbing him to death. However, he's going to get stabbed to death here shortly. So, trying to think if anyone else is in worry of a tie-up. So, we're going to go ahead and have this guy move. He can actually move 3... Oh, turn the camera, you can see it. He can actually move 3 inches so that he'll be within 1 inch to tie up the Irongut, so the Irongut has to sit back here. He's like literally just at the 1 inch mark, so they're touching, engaged. And he'll go ahead and take 2 stabby stab pot shots at the Irongut before it inevitably blows into dust. Ooh, 6, so he takes 4 damage. And Irongut, move the tape measure. As he narrowly avoids disaster by not knocking his desk stand lamp onto the floor. Alright, so 4 damage to the Irongut, who will activate next and swing back with 2 attacks at strength 6. So, too bad there isn't any double rolling for 3s, better Earth 2s, but double 3s or a 6. Well, so he does 4 damage to the 1 skeleton. So we gotta dig out another 1, and that will be so that'll be skeleton spearman number 6, because he's in the hammer. And every time I hear hammer, I just think of that 80s song Sledgehammer, because I just a name like that, I guess. Okay, next person to activate. Let's see here. He is within 2 inches of him, so he's going to go ahead and do a double attack. I'm going to roll the dice at the same time because he has no way of killing him in 1 shot. Alright, that's 1 pip of damage against the toughness 4 ogre. So Glutton the first pip right here. As soon as we dig out the right token type, boop, 1 damage. And the last one to activate will be the Gnoblar fighter, who is kind of being silly because really his treasure is going to be gone next for sure. So he is going to go ahead and basically scamper forth to retrieve the goods. And yeah, because it's going to be gone here shortly. And then the rest of the skeletons are going to pile in and attack. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do that 1 skeleton. He's going to do his 4 attacks. Ooh, double 6s. That's 8 damage to the 1 dude. So that will be a 5 and a 3. So he's taken 9 damage. He's almost a third of the way down. Oh, good lord, they have so many hit points. This guy is going to basically go here. I can't squeeze in, so he'll just have to wait. That one already attacked, so we're going to go ahead and have this guy move up to poke. So he'll do 2 attacks. No damage. That one already moved. This guy's going to go ahead and do a double move because he can go. And you know what? I just remembered that they only have a 3-inch move, not a 4-inch move. So, well, we're going to just do this and just justify the attacks because he only attacked once anyways, I realized. So we're going to just play like I played like a moron and had him stay engaged. So he's going to move up and he'll do 3 attacks. So that is cocked. Okay, no damage from him. And then all those guys are going to scooch forward. They'll all be able to attack the Leadbelchers. So we'll just go ahead and roll them all. Basically, they're going to go like so. Tie him up. And then I'm just going to roll all the dice. So the single attack each from the 2 swordsmen. Alright, so that's 4 damage. And now the single attack each from the 2 spearmen for another 5 damage. So 9 damage were dealt to the Leadbelcher. So we're at 6. 6 plus 9 is 15. So we'll take that one off and make it a 10. So he is halfway down. Will the skeletons actually take down an ogre this game? I don't know if they've actually ever done it in like the 4 or 5 games I've played with them. So we'll see. Those all activated in the middle. that skeleton actually hasn't fought yet, so he's going to do his double attack. 5 and 6, another 5 damage to the leader. So leader's going from 6 damage to 11 damage. And then the skeleton champion, there is the walkway through there. So what we're going to do is basically do a double move, because this should be more than enough. He's going to go through the doorway and plant himself right there to try and take down the ogre champion. So I think that's everybody activated now. So it's the end of the second battle round. So Legions and Nagash are going to pull that treasure. And we're going to go ahead and head into the third battle round and the final battle round of this journey. Here we go. You know, so here's the pickle I'm thinking about right now. I have only one glutton within range of the treasure. And I'm trying to look and think if he has any possible way of taking down all 3 fighters in one shot, because basically the only way we could pull a draw at this point, because there's just so many skeletons on top of that, is he would have to be able to. He has the Iron Fist. If I get a double 6 and I roll 2 6s, I can smash one skeleton. Then I can fight the other, and then maybe take a move action and snag it. I guess that's the one thing. Well, I can't even do a move action because he's engaged with the champion. And as the rules state for the treasure, it's at the end of any move action you can pick it up, but not a disengage action. At least that's how I've read it. So you can't disengage and pick up a treasure at the same time. So with the rules being read that way, even if I could do an Iron Fist, kill that one, disengage, and then move to capture it, I guess that's the only way that I could possibly do it. So we'll go ahead and attempt it. I think we'll go ahead and try to roll this one out. I don't know if we're gonna get it. So yeah, double 4, a triple, and a single, and then triple, double, single. Actually, there's a chance. And however, I do believe that both sides have 2 wild dice at this point. And so I think the thing is that we would make them both, essentially do triple singles on both sides, because both are going to try and steal the initiative. Because if the Legions of Nagash player gets to go first, he disengage, he runs away, and it's game over. I don't think there's any way, unless the bolt charge deals damage equal to the value of this ability. Oh, that would be a tangle up, because if he actually gets to go first, that guy actually only has 6 hit points left, so he could actually do the movement, smash into him, and since it's the end of the move action, the treasure then gets dropped and appears. I don't know how the timing is for that. Too much head stuff going on here. However, if the ogres go first, then we'll attempt the. I think we'll see. Oh, Legion of Nagash get to go first. So I think, all I have to do is do a disengage, and actually, even if I disengage and I use my movement, he can't get close enough to get to him, I think. Or I guess they technically have the same inch movement. So we're going to we'll do a disengage, so he moves 3 inches, and then he's going to move another 3 inches. So he'll be moving essentially 6 inches over here. Then this glutton is going to activate. See if he can get 3 inches and get more than an inch away. He sure can. He's going to activate the triple to 2 bolt charge, so that he will disengage, and he'll move 4 inches, do 2 damage to that fighter, because the bolt charge does damage automatically. He drops the treasure, and it's the move action, so he gets to snag it. So I guess we're going to actually have to play out the whole rest of the round, because these guys are going to have to shuffle their butts over. We're going to see if he can even get within an inch. So he can get within an inch, and he will do that and do 3 attacks. We're standing. This is important. Oh, 6. So he does 3 damage to the Glutton. So he's at 9. So he's now at 12 damage. Next activation, the Ogre Crusher is going to go ahead and attack the one dude in front of him. He's got 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, and he's dead. Poof, and that was from the hammer, so that was Hammer Spearman number 3, because they haven't taken anything yet. Then his next move is going to go ahead and be a 4-inch, and he can't quite wrap around the terrain. So what we'll do is we'll just go like so and tie up that skeleton, because the next one to go will be the champion. He's 3 inches. He's 3 inches, so even 4 inches, he's out of range. So it looks like it's up to him. He is, unfortunately, he's 6 inches away, so he'll have to burn my 1 double, which I accidentally rolled earlier, so he can move 4 inches, so he can get 2 attacks in. He can't even kill him in 1 double 6. Another 4 damage to the Ironfist, so we'll just turn one of those into a 16. And I think that does it, actually, because this is the one that doesn't have any walls over here, so nobody can see him, and nobody else can get over to attack the ogre in time. So, yeah, that, you know what, because even if they can all tussle it out, I mean, these guys can pummel the tar out of the Leadbelcher. I don't think there's anything left for the Legion's player to be able to be done in order to pull this game from the jaws of defeat. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and just call it here, because, yeah, just because of how I would understand how the treasure falling would work, and with how the bull charge would work, I think that would be a very unique FAQ scenario. If somebody knows the official ruling on how that would work, I mean, you can let me know. But technically, the way I see it is the bull charge applies to the end of a move action, and he's also ending the move action there. So with the treasure being dropped, I guess it's kind of one of those things where I don't really know for certain, just because of that one unique weird rolling scenario. Because if he does not claim it and it just sits right there on the table, then this skeleton, instead of charging him, would just use a rush double inch and go around and pick it up, and then the Legion's player would still win. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who actually would have won that. I think it would really depend on how the chain of events would go with the bull charge and the treasure token. So, I don't really know how to call this one then. I think we'll just, we'll leave it up to your decision. If you believe that the bull charge and then the treasure dropping would still apply, that the ogre would still pick it up at the end of the move action because it's all happening at the same end of the move action, then the ogre player wins. If you're saying that because the treasure drops after the damage is applied, so it's technically a different activation, then the treasure would be sitting on the field, and that swordsman could run around, because like technically I could have just done the rush and he would have been to there, picked up the treasure, and then he would have won by holding the treasure, because nobody else could get over here because of that wall. So yeah, I will leave it up to you guys. So please comment below what you guys think the official ruling would be, or what actually would be, what you think it should be, your opinion on it. Yeah, was not anticipating a wonky setup otherwise. Yeah, this is kind of how I expected this game to go, with is basically whoever could get to the center treasure first and would probably have the win, because I figured if the ogres got to go first, then the Leadbelcher would run over, grab it, move over, and then they would have to be trying to eat through 30 wounds of big beefy boy. So yeah, because all the ogres are 30 wounds, with the exception of the leaders, which are 40 wounds, which, as you see, is a lot. I mean, each skeleton's 8 wounds apiece, and that's basically trying to beat up 5 skeletons at once. So, all right, well, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this quick little report, or quick-ish for a full battle report. I'll get these guys rearranged, set up, and we'll pick another combination to fight against soon. All right, guys. Thank you, and have a good day.